Welcome everybody to Lessons in the Field. As you know, this is a series of interviews that we do with a diverse array of guests, all of whom have a common thread, and that is a passion for pharmacy and pharmaceutical sciences. And today it's our special pleasure to welcome Aisha Hussain, who's a 2006 graduate of our PharmD program. Aisha is currently clinical advisor for specialty solutions at CVS Specialty Pharmacy, and we're looking forward to going through some questions with her. I know that her responses and insight will be very valuable to our guests who are listening, and I'm looking forward to learning about her time since she left UIC. So Aisha, if you wouldn't mind starting off with just a brief kind of overview of your career since the time you left the college.
Absolutely. And first and foremost, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to talk to everyone today. I appreciate it. After graduating from pharmacy school in 2006, I went on to pursue a PGY1 residency at the Heinz VA healthcare system over in the Loyola and Maywood area, in the greater Chicagoland area. Over there, I was exposed to a number of different great experiences. Some of those experiences included inpatient pharmacy, ambulatory care, long-term care facility, and then I was also very fortunate to be able to rotate through the National PBM, which is actually also located within the Heinz campus.
Yeah.
So I would say that, it was a wonderful experience because of my opportunity to learn about all of the different types of roles that pharmacists have within the VA system. After completing the residency, I stayed on, and then I actually got married and I moved out to the DC area. And I actually joined Kaiser Permanente within the Mid-Atlantic States region. And I worked specifically in the Falls Church or the Northern Virginia area. I supported two of the largest medical office buildings within the Mid-Atlantic States region. And some of the work that I did included patient care. I worked for about 50% of my time taking care of patients. And then I also supported a number of what I'll call medical affairs type activities. So P&T, Pharmacy and Therapeutic Committee activities. I developed monographs. I presented monographs. I delivered recommendations to our committee. And so I did that. I did a number of interesting things when I was at Kaiser. I also participated in a number of pilots. So as I'm sure, you may recall, when the hepatitis C drugs came to market, that caused a real flurry within the healthcare system. We didn't know what to do, for patients. It was an $80,000, medication course for a single patient. That was really overwhelming to the healthcare system. So our particular medical office building was one of the medical office buildings where we piloted a pharmacist clinical program designed to really ensure that the right patient received the right medication. We focused on educating patients. So that in a nutshell are some of the key experiences that I had while at Kaiser. And then my husband and I decided to move back to the greater Chicagoland area to be closer to family. And when we moved back, I spent a little bit of time kind of looking at the market and trying to determine, where I wanted to be. So I did spend about 6 months or so at AbbVie in the pharmacovigilance department, just gaining some exposure and learning about pharmacovigilance, patient safety. But I wanted to actually move into a more permanent role. And so I ended up joining CVS Health, While at CVS Health, I've held a number of different roles. Currently, I work as a specialty focused clinical advisor. And in this role, I primarily talk to payer customers regarding specialty related drug management. So I speak to them about patient care management, but also talk to them about strategies to help ensure that they are choosing the most cost-effective therapies with the best clinical outcomes for patients.
Wow, so you've really had a lot of different experiences in the time that you've been practicing, from kind of a clinical patient care pharmacist to all of the P&T and monograph medical affairs kinds of things, pharmacovigilance, and specialty pharmacy at CVS, which you mentioned earlier with the hepatitis C drugs, kind of got you started, I guess, in that area of expertise too. So congratulations. Obviously, maybe that's one of the reasons we've selected you to participate in this, because of all of that great experience that you can share. So Aisha, maybe you could expand a little bit on your current position and tell us a little bit more about managed care, and in particular specialty pharmacies. That's what the focus is of the job you have now.
Absolutely. In my current role, I talk to payer customers regarding specialty drug-related trend management. So as part of my responsibilities, I perform pipeline surveillance, which means I look at drugs that are in the pipeline. And as as you may or may not be aware, many of those drugs are actually drugs used to treat specialty conditions. There isn't any one specific definition for specialty, but we commonly think of oncology, multiple sclerosis, rheumatoid arthritis, or autoimmune conditions, examples of those. But pipeline surveillance is a key aspect in my day-to-day work. And then also developing clinical programs for specialty patients, so that once they get started on these medications, we ensure that they are appropriately monitored. We make sure that they have the education that they need. And so in my role, I bring a lot of the products that we develop within CVS to the customers, and I educate them on those products and offer those products to them. So I mainly focus on trend management through pipeline surveillance, and then investigating any issues that the customer may have regarding a specialty patient or a specialty member of theirs that is serviced through our specialty pharmacy.
Excellent, thank you, Aisha. Just kind of thinking about what you might want to share with current students as they contemplate their careers, all the options that are available to them, and how they prepare for that. Is there anything you'd like to pass along to those students as they look to the future?
Absolutely. So first and foremost, you all are very fortunate to go to, to have gone through UIC's College of Pharmacy experience. The college really does a wonderful job laying a solid foundation, so that when you leave, you are equipped with the skills so that you can go into into any type of pharmacy practice location and be successful. I would say that let curiosity drive you, keep an open mind, and be flexible. For me, I think embracing being curious and wanting to learn has really helped me. And so I would strongly recommend that you go into an area where you're curious, and you make connections, and just flourish.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you, Aisha. That's great advice for our students. You've had all these different experiences, and each one, kind of in a different area where you've had to learn how. I think especially for maybe our more recent graduates, how do you stay current on your knowledge, and how do you kind of expand your experience and grow in a way that's kind of controlled like that? Any secrets?
I am very closely connected to professional organizations. I read the information that comes through. I'm also board certified, and so with being board certified, you do receive regular continuing education that's above and beyond the type of education that you may receive if you were just to fulfill your CE credits. So I would definitely say professional organization participation, excuse me, and then residency training if you can, but if you can't, that's okay too. You can certainly stay connected to the profession through professional organizations.
Yeah, no, it's a good point about board certification. Requirements to stay certified really are much higher than just the regular CE. It's a great way to stay up on knowledge that you might not otherwise have the opportunity to look into or to stay close to. So maybe stepping back then a little bit, back to UIC and your time here, was there anything in particular that you want to highlight while you were here that helped you prepare for your career?
Absolutely. So today in my current role, we are laser focused on drug affordability, making sure that patients can afford the medicines. And so I would say that pharmacoeconomics is actually one course that I would strongly recommend everyone laser in on. We at CVS within CVS, we've partnered with an organization. It's a nonprofit organization called Aisha.
Mhm.
And just as a student, from your perspective, or as a recent graduate, just being aware of Aisha's presence, knowing what's going on within the marketplace. So I would say pharmacoeconomics is something that's very important.
That's awesome. I mean, as you know, I think we have a really great pharmacoeconomics group here. In fact, they have a contract with ICER, and they do the modeling for that group.
Oh, wow.
So our students have a lot of opportunity to volunteer or work in that group with those faculty. So besides the actual course, which is a requirement, there's lots of opportunities to work with our faculty in pharmacoeconomics. So thanks for that plug for pharmacoeconomics.
Of course.
Definitely
Well,
important.
that's unique.
Yeah,
That's very unique. I would strongly recommend if people have the opportunity to participate in that type of activity, you should do it.
yeah, great. So let's see. Next question is kind of looking at more globally, healthcare in general. Kind of your thoughts on the whole healthcare system. What are things that if there's one thing maybe you could change about healthcare, or just your observations about our healthcare program and where pharmacists fit in?
Absolutely. One thing I think is really important within healthcare is improving communication between various providers. And so reducing the fragmentation that exists within healthcare. With the advent of the electronic medical record, we're seeing a lot of improvement in that communication. And then from a pharmacist perspective, there are so many things that we can do, that we are able to do. You can work on the front line as a healthcare professional taking care of patients, or you could work in informatics. You could develop great programs and tools that will help many downstream. You could work within the FDA. You could serve patients that way. You can work in the public health organizations. There are so many things pharmacists can do, and that's what's really special and unique to our profession.
Yeah,
it's really exciting. Yeah.
So maybe kind of another big picture question is just some tips for people either in their careers or in life generally. Any tips for success? What's worked well for you, or maybe what people have suggested to you, mentors that you've had over the different positions that you've held?
Absolutely. So I would say good listening skills, very important. Networking, very, very important. You know, surrounding yourself with positive forces in your life that help you. I mean, that's really invaluable. And then maintaining curiosity, and always, you know, wanting to explore and learn. Those are some
Yeah,
of the key tips.
that, I mean, that curiosity piece, thank you for repeating that. I think that's really something that is invaluable, and a lot of people don't think about it as often as they should, because you get sometimes stuck in the rut of your job or whatever, and staying curious and asking questions. That is a way to really keep motivated, I think. So as we wrap this up, you've already mentioned some of the opportunities that are out there, you know, for practicing for as pharmacists. Any last minute things you want to address to our students in terms of where you see the future going, or what our students could be thinking about longer term?
So I'd say just learning about the healthcare system in general and having knowledge around that is really important. Um, you know, for as I reflect on pharmacy and think about when I graduated and how retail pharmacy has evolved, that's also, you know, another very exciting area. We're seeing a movement from, you know, lick, stick, and pour to a focus on more cognitive related functions for our pharmacists. So that's, you know, that's another exciting area. I mean, you know, as I mentioned earlier, pharmacy is very unique because you have a lot of flexibility. You can start off in a patient-facing role, but then you do have the ability to acquire and gain new skills and move into business roles, public health roles, informatics roles. There are many opportunities out there for you.
Aisha, thank you so much for being part of this interview. I think your insight is invaluable to our current and recent graduates, and wish you the best of luck in the future, and look forward to seeing you back at the college at some point.
Thank you so much, Dean Schumock. I really appreciate this opportunity to talk to everyone, and I'm here to serve, you know, as a resource if there are any students or others who are interested in learning more about any aspect of my career. I'm here.